there is a purpose why you're doing it. If you don't do this, you're not going to get paid.
Exactly.
So say it as like, this is a job that I am doing for myself.
Yeah, but the only thing there is the good thing about Nigerians entrepreneur, which I so much adore, is there's this resilience in all of us.
Yeah.
We barely give up. We always find our way around, which is why they say if you can survive as a business in Nigeria, you can thrive anywhere around the world. So
I think a lot of entrepreneurs, right, believe there's this mindset that, oh, if you're not working a 9 to 5, then there's no need to have a pension, or you don't really like. It doesn't come off as a necessity.
That is literally you saying that if I'm not in 9 to 5, I cannot invest. I don't have the right to invest because I'm not doing 9 to 5.
Hello guys, welcome to another episode of the Entrepreneur's Guide to Retirement podcast, and I am still your very host, Alima. And guys, I know that we've been learning a lot from season 1 down to season 2. We're on the second episode of the season, and I just wanted to mention that this podcast has done so much for me, and I know that it has done so much for you as well, as an entrepreneur, as someone who wants to save, as someone who wants to plan for their retirement. So tell me one thing that you've learned so far from season 1 down to this point. Tell me one thing you've learned so far in the comment section before we delve right into it today. And today, guys, I'm really excited because we have a mind-blowing person in our midst. He's an agri-tech business owner, and I mean, there's so many fields in the business world that people don't explore as much. And I think agriculture is one of it. Although I think a lot of young people are also getting into that space. However, I don't think we've explored it that much. And here's somebody that is doing so much with it, right? From serving businesses to serving farmers to serving consumers, just doing so much in that space. So I have with me Malachi Chidera of FarmStack. He's the CEO of FarmStack. Please, a round of applause.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction.
Hi. All right, Malachi, tell us a bit about yourself before we then dive into the episode proper.
Okay. I would like to introduce me. My name is Malachi Chidera. I'm the founder and CEO at FarmStack. We're basically providing services across for farmers, consumers, content creators, and businesses as well. We have procurement services, saving vaults. We have the creators feeds on FarmStack. It's an interesting product, and I believe it will really serve a good purpose.
Okay. Does it have an app or like a website that people can access everything that?
Yeah, we have a web app, mobile app in the pipeline. By the second week of next month, our app should be up.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Thank you for joining us on Entrepreneur's Guide to Retirement. And before we delve into the episode proper, do you have a pensions account? Let me put you on the spot like that.
That's a tough question. I have multiple accounts, literally. I'm very big on, retirement investment, right?
Okay.
I do a lot of investment pension. I do real estate investments, and I do a couple of them. So, yeah, I do have a couple of it.
All right, I5. Yeah, because I think it's very important that as much as we're having this conversation, we're also internalizing it.
Yeah, sure.
And looking in when I say, oh, am I actually doing this thing that I'm telling other people to do? Okay. All right, so let's delve into the episode proper. My first question for you would be that a lot of times, right, we see a lot of entrepreneurs, they want to reinvest their profits back into the business, right? So for them to grow their business, they're looking, the money I make out of it, instead of using it to maybe invest in other things, right? Or start my retirement savings, right? They want to reinvest that money back into the business so the business can grow, right? So how then can they strike a balance between scaling their business and also planning for a future that is uncertain?
Okay, good question. So I would love to put the answer to this question in a very simple context, which is the principle of 40, 40, 20.
Okay.
40% of the profit you made back into the business.
Okay.
And 40% of the other profit diversified a bit. Then the 20% is what you do away with. Probably if you pay tithe, 10% to tithe, and then probably the other 10 for whatever thing you want to use it for. So for yourself, for your enjoyment. So
Mm-hmm.
the remaining 40 that goes into other investment, which is diversified, is where you can strike a balance, for your savings. People save a lot, right? But the difference now between pension and your normal saving is the fact that your pension is your retirement plan.
Yeah.
You understand? You don't have access to it till you are retired. So it's very important that as you're saving, your normal saving that you use for your food, you use for your daily activities, for your rent, try and find a way to strike a balance in between. Have a portion, even if it is 2% or 1% of it, for your retirement purpose. At the end of the day, it's still
2%
for
no
you.
come small like this.
Yeah? It
2% no
depends
small.
on you. That just to start. I mean, you can't just
Okay.
tell me that I've not done anything in that sector. To
Ye-
start with 10 or 20,
Fair
it's a
enough.
bit
Yeah.
high. So 2 is a bit convincing to start with. You just start from somewhere, and as time goes on, you might even fall in love with it and decide to do more. So just try, in as much as you're breaking the principle, 20, 40, 40, 40 back to the business,
Yeah.
40 diversified, your personal investment and every other thing. From that 40, try and find a way you have
Mm.
one for fixed, fixed deposit, that's for retirement and all of
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And I agree. And I think that's why we also have the micro pensions where, you can literally put as little as like whatever how much little it can be. You can
So why
always put
didn't I
it
have
in.
an issue when I said
And
2%?
I'm just telling
So
you
we are still
now.
on the same path now.
But even though 2%, for your retirement,
I
you
don't,
need to up
it,
that game small.
it will be growing over time. It will grow
Fair
over
enough,
time.
fair enough. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I mean, I
thank
don't
you.
have an issue with it. It's just, there's the micro pensions where people can save,
Okay.
right? There are for people who don't earn a fixed amount of money every month, right? There are people who small business owners, there are market women, there are people who earn wages, right? All of
Yeah.
these people now, they're not exempted from saving
Okay.
for their retirement,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
true.
I think that definitely works. The 40-40-20 principle
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
is something that I think everybody should adopt. And I totally agree with you.
Thank you.
Another question I want to ask you is we're in sort of economic downtime
Okay.
in Nigeria. And this happens a lot, right? And businesses would definitely struggle with cash flow and whatnot, right? So, what are some low investment strategies or low risk strategies that entrepreneurs can adopt, right? You're an entrepreneur, you're making a lot of money, you're in agri-tech, you're chopping all of Nigeria's money in
I'm not chopping
agriculture.
any money.
That's where the new oil is,
Come and join
please.
me and chop the money that if you can do the hard work.
I mean, I want to chop the money.
Come and join me.
gonna
It's
join
an
you.
open feed. I mean, we are calling on more agripreneurs, the young agripreneurs. We are calling on you because a lot of you are shying away from this. And trust
Yeah.
me, that's what is feeding the nation. Because from your clothing to your shelter to what you eat
Yeah.
are all products of agriculture. So I don't
Yeah.
know why you guys are shying away from it. But back to business. So you said Nigeria is,
Yeah, so I'm just saying, like in economic downtimes like this,
so
right? How do people like there's no cash flow
okay.
for a lot of businesses or a lot of entrepreneurs, right? How can they still like secure their future without straining too much of their business?
Well, Nigerian, if I'm wrong, correct me, right? Since our independence, has there been any time that we have a better economy? It has always been deteriorating. It has been getting worse.
Fair enough.
Pardon me, nobody should come for me. So it has been getting worse and worse and worse. But the only thing there is the good thing about Nigerians entrepreneur, which I so much adore, is there's this resilience in all of us.
Yeah.
We barely give up. We always find our way around, which is why they say if you can survive as a business in Nigeria, you can thrive anywhere around the world.
Yeah.
So you still find your balance. I wouldn't advise you on what to do or how to go about it. You always figure it out. You have your way around it. So I think the best thing to do is you already have how you coop out funds from what you do. It's just for you to see how you can diversify. Like you mentioned, low risk investment. I'm big on agriculture, right? And food is one thing that goes up regularly. So you can't make plans for it.
Yeah.
Once crops start coming out, if you have a storage space, you can start with maybe one bag of beans or soya beans or shea butter, whatever thing you can. Buy a couple of it, keep. It doesn't spoil. There are good ways to preserve it. There are ones
Yeah.
you can start with that does not spoil quick. You preserve it, and then as time goes on, you sell for your cash and you make good money. You still have leftover to save for your retirement, your pension account. So I mean, there are low risk investments you can do, and if people can also go for what's it called, this trustee kind of note that bank sells, That's a very low risk investment. You can invest in that and be getting dividend. Although I think the smallest ticket for that is between 500 to 1 million naira. So I might not get it clearly when you mentioned small business people. So I'm talking class between 500k. If you have 500k to spend, you can buy a trust from the bank and be getting
We
dividend
are
from
rich.
it.
Small business thing, you're telling me 500K.
I,
Me, I'm thinking like maybe we will start very small.
it's like I'm
Yeah, I don't know, maybe like 50K. Let's start really small.
I already mentioned that you can start with agricultural produce if you can do the stress, although it's very stressful. You can start with that, But I love taking big risks.
Big things, like.
We have people. I read after the last book, he started with owing debt of over 200 billion naira. If I can be like him, what's in spoil. Just that nobody will give me that kind of money because my papa no be no be governor. But if I love taking big risk, some of the risks I take include, investing in digital assets, which of course I've lost huge amount of money there. So I'm not giving up. Investment is risky.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So also another thing is speaking of pensions and saving for the future, I think a lot of entrepreneurs right believe there's this mindset that if you're not working a 9 to 5, then there's no need to have a pension, or they don't really it doesn't come off as a necessity.
That is literally you saying that if I'm not in 9 to 5, I cannot invest. I don't have the right to invest because I'm not doing 9 to 5.
Right. So I think a lot of people actually feel that way.
Okay.
Right. When it comes to, retirement savings.
Okay.
When it comes to investment, I think everybody is more of open to it to a reasonable extent. When it comes to retirement savings, the education out there or the information out there still seems very stifled. Like, it's only for people that work 9 to 5 or people who are in the government sector and whatnot, right? So, what are the steps that business owners can take to ensure that they have a comfortable retirement? So now that there isn't a lot of knowledge about it, right? What are those things that if you were sitting with a young business owner, say what are the things you're going to tell them and say, look, to have a very secure retirement stage or a future 10 years from now, 30 years from now, when you want to retire, these are the things that I would advise that you do now for that time.
So I always love to go with people's principle because I have tested it and it have worked. So if let's say you're a business owner that does you make sales and you are making an average of 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira profit daily, right? Of course, you know how you've already structured your savings. There are people that does this, they used to call it ajo in Yoruba.
Yeah.
Where you make contributions and then you pack some money. You can decide, like you mentioned, there's a micro pension account.
Yeah.
You can do that daily. As long as you know you can't earn anything less than 5,000 naira a day. If you are doing out of that 5k 1,000 naira every day, 365 days, you already have 365,000 naira sitting somewhere without breaking a sweat, right? So it's just for them it's just the mind, because they see it as money I no go fit touch.
Yeah.
You know?
True. That's
So
that's actually it.
It's just how you reprogram your mind. Just understand it that probably you are saving it for that your old age when you don't have strength, to do other things. You have something somewhere, or you're doing it for your kids, or you're doing it for your grandkids. And I think that's what separates, the elites from those middle class and low class people, because if they are making investments or they are doing some sort of savings, they think 3-4 generations ahead, right? So if you can structure your mind to think that way, okay, look, this money I'm saving it for my grandkids. I'm saving it for that time I don't have strength, to even carry a bowl to fetch water, so I don't have to start depending on somebody. Just know that you are doing it for a purpose. Don't leave your mind blank that it's the money you are saving. You don't know when you're going to touch it. I think that is what is going to deviate you from actually being that disciplined to save. As long as you tie that saving to a particular purpose, of course, you would be disciplined enough to keep doing it. So that's the step I give to anybody. If I want to save or I want to make an investment, I tie it to a purpose. So that way I'm purpose driven. If I'm giving up, I remember what's actually started
Speak
the whole
on
journey.
it.
So just tie the saving to a purpose, and then you see yourself doing it without even knowing it.
All right. I think that's very brilliant. So two things that I'm gonna take away is, one is that you have to change your mindset.
Yeah.
Right. For everything that you're doing, you need to be able to position your mindset in a way that is very positive towards that thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. And then secondly is to tie things to a purpose. Right.
Yes.
So if you're saving for something, just give it a purpose, right? Tie it to something such that it feels like you're being held accountable
For that
for
thing.
that thing.
Exactly.
And I think it's also the mindset that people have when they actually go to work, right?
Yes.
There is a purpose why you're doing it. If you don't do this, you're not going to get paid.
Exactly.
So say it as like, this is a job that I am doing for
Yeah.
myself.
You're on point. You understand the
Exactly.
check.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that was very insightful. Thank you very, very much. And final question. This is, just one-on-one, right? When are you going to put me on farm stack? F my life.
I would now Oak Pension, they control the money. I would say Oak Pension to actually be the one to sponsor me, but we are open to having anybody on board. Like I mentioned, FarmStack is broad. I mean, we are basically creating a space where it's going to be profitable,
For
efficient,
everyone.
and sustainable for everybody.
Alright,
Right?
alright.
If,
No wahala.
if you understand the content creation, let me use just that one. The content creation space just crossed over $2.1 billion, if I'm not mistaken, in Nigeria. And most of this money goes to the filmmakers, the music producers, the content creators. I mean, the people within the agri value chain are not hard. They are not seen. They are just basically like insignificant pebble. Nobody knows they're existing. So FarmStack is giving you that window to that food you love cooking. Cook it. Post it on FarmStack. Tag your recipes on FarmStack Marketplace. Share the link to your friend. Look at what I made. Watch the video. If you're interested in making it, you don't have to start scouting for what I use. Just click on buy now, and then all the recipes goes to your cart. You check out, and you, the creator, keep up to 30% of the profits made from that sales. Beautiful, and so you can onboard from there. You start from there.
Yeah, no, wow.
Yeah.
And I see people are going on FarmStack to make money and keeping your 30%. Make sure that you're putting like 15% back into your pension account.
Very important too.
Put it into your Oak pension. And if you do not have a retirement savings account yet, I don't know what you're waiting for. Oak Pensions is the right PFA for you. The best pension fund administrator that you could ever use, because your money is safe, is secured, and I mean they have the best customer service ever. Just all out there, and whatever problems you have would be solved in a minute. So yeah, make sure that you open your Oak Pensions account today if you have not opened one, and if you have but you're not updating, you're not dropping your funds there, make sure you do that. And if you're a government worker, I'm sure that that's already sorted for you. But make sure that you always keep it updated. Your pension is not just for when you are old and aged alone, right? There are also emergencies where you might need to open up your pensions account and get funds from it, right? So make sure that you're doing all of that and keeping yourself safe and preparing for retirement. Because who wants to be 70 and working, really?
Nobody at all. Not me. If you are the person, I'm not.
Definitely not me.
I'm not the person. I'm not the
So,
person.
yeah, definitely. And thank you so much, Malachi,
welcome.
for joining us on today's episode. I think I've learned so much.
Thank
All
you so
right, this
much.
has been such an insightful episode. Thank you so much for joining us on the podcast
And
today.
thank you too for having
And
me.
guys, this is the end of it. See you guys in the next episode.
Cheers.